ईश्वरं सुता श्रीमन् पूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ सत्यसाईश कर्तव्यं देवामानिकम्.
It came to me very strongly today to tell the world, right? Or whoever I can tell, like, don't lose faith in humanity. Because I know that we're in a really hard time right now regarding our faith in humanity in general. And I just wanted to kind of put it out there, like, don't lose faith in humanity. And the reason I say that is because you have to remember that regardless of what the collective ego is doing, right? Now remember, the collective ego is playing all of it. It's playing all of it, but it certainly seems to a lot of incarnations at this time that collective ego is just like, right, getting crazier and crazier. And it doesn't seem to matter which kind of polarized side you're sitting on, right? If you're conservative looking liberal or liberal looking conservative, it still looks crazy. And that's because all of that is coming up, right? And so the reason I say don't lose faith in humanity is because what we have to remember in the middle of all the crazy and in the middle of all the chaos is that the same eternal, right, is still the driving force underneath and within, right, moving through every piece of humanity. And that these expressions that we see are only coming forward because it's time for them to come forward to be cleared and balanced. Now, does that mean that every ego walking the planet is going to step up and say, I think I'm ready to do some really deep inner work and like chase down my demons? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But don't lose faith in the process, right? Like, we all came here. Now, you may not remember signing up to come here. Some of us do remember. Some of us remember the actually coming here, right? And what I can say is we all came from the same space of, oh, what a shame. Like what a shame. How could we forget ourselves, right? In form down there and the earth. And it would be, how can we forget ourselves? Because we're all one. We know that to be true. So any expression we see is an expression of ourselves, ultimately, right? It's all the eternal. And so to hear of the story of a fall of consciousness and to say, oh, okay, like, let's go fix that, right? Let's go do what we need to do to remind ourselves who we are, right? The love that we carry, the service that we render. And we did it, not fully appreciating how challenging it would be once we were actually in it from the same fallen space as those that we were here to try to lift out. There's no way you could really see that from where we came from, because it's non-polarized. So the understanding would be there, but the actual, emotional part of that wouldn't even have remotely hit us, because it couldn't have. So here we are. But what we can't see is, and we do kind of when we go into the grid, and I don't know, for each of us, like what our level of sight is, or our level of being able to kind of tune into that energy. But I hope that everybody at least gets somewhat of an experience of, like, once we get in there, the peace that sits there, right? and the feeling of inclusion and respect and love that is just, you know, beyond abundant in that space. And that indicates to me, and it should indicate to you, since we go into this space week after week, that people all over the planet, like yourselves, are capable, right, of letting the trappings of the world fall away so that they can move up into that grid consciously and work that field of light, which is what we're doing together when we do that. So let that be a reminder to you that we are not alone in the work that we're doing, and we're not alone in the fact that, like, it's possible. Don't lose, you know, your heart for the service that you came here to render. And I know it's hard because life is so busy and so crazy right now, you know. I mean, for some of us, we're like physically busier than others, of course. I mean, that's normal anyway. But time is certainly speeding up. I think everybody seems to recognize that in a way that I don't think we ever have before. I mean, I've heard young people say, I literally had a conversation, it was like a year ago or something. I was at a grocery store, and the girl working the cash register, when I'm checking out, said she looked to be early 20s. I mean, she's just a kid to me. And she said something to me like, God, you know, like, you believe how fast time goes now? And I was just like, I know. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, like, that's unusual. You know, yes, the older you get, it seems like time speeds up. I've always understood that. But to have younger people just say, like everything's moving so fast, I can't keep up. That says that there's literally something moving, and there's truth to that. So we got a lot of people still on the planet. The vast majority are completely asleep, right? We're interfacing with AI. I mean, literally, we're interfacing with a program the vast majority of the time, right? But don't lose your heart for it. Still stay in your heart. Be the representative that you came here to be, right? To the best of your ability, meaning you need to carry your light and be a pillar of light, right? A beacon of light in the world. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be pious and, you know, all of that stuff. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to have a beer or a glass of wine, or you're not allowed to swear. It doesn't mean anything like that. You're just here to be you, right? To carry your light. And when you recognize that that has kind of shorted out, so to speak, do what you need to do to get yourself centered, and then go back out into the world. But don't lose faith, because, as I've always said, God can't lose itself indefinitely. Right? It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And for anyone on this call, or anyone who would happen to hear me speak these words, right? All of you, if you hear me speaking to you, this is for you. All of you have done work lifetime after lifetime after lifetime because of that same aspect of the eternal that is pulling you forward, guiding you through lifetime after lifetime of balancing karma and balancing karma, trying not to build new karma at the same time, right? Sometimes succeeding, sometimes not so much. And that's okay. But it's gotten you where you are right now. And that's the voice of the eternal inside of you. And we all carry it because we all are that. And a lot of incarnated pieces of the eternal have completely lost sight of that. And that's okay, because they will have their time of awakening. And you'd be amazed. Sometimes the smallest thing just triggers a level of awakening that can completely turn a life around, you know? So for whatever reason, that message came through to me today, and I needed to speak it forward. I don't know, maybe one of you can tell me if that resonates especially strong today. I don't know why. I don't know if it's Pluto going into Aquarius today. Like, I really don't know why, but it came forward so strong that I felt like I needed to share that.